You're listening to AchtungMillwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Hello. Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome to part 2 of Achtung 630. Can you believe that? How many shows have we done? Obviously, this one's in the wake of yesterday's 3-0 loss, home loss versus Coventry City. Get a lot of voicemail contributions, which I really welcome, and big thank you to everyone that sent stuff in this weekend. So we thought we'd do a little separate show reviewing the voicemails, and also got a nice conversation with Harry Warren about his take on yesterday's shellacking by Coventry City. But first, before we do anything else, we have to have our punditgames.co.uk question. Pundit Games is a fantastic football quiz, and Christmas is coming. Put the 2 and 2 together and make 4, dear listeners. Pick yourself up a copy of Pundit. You can go to punditgames.co.uk, select the drop down for AchtungMillwall if you do, and the Lions Food Hub gets a contribution under an arrangement we've got. But as a little example, give you a teaser question just so you know what kind of thing you're dealing with. It's a football quiz question, board games. You get 5 questions in a row, score a goal, and play for 45 minutes if you wish, and defeat your opponent and answer 5 questions in a row. You score a goal. So this is a teaser question, example question. This one comes from England in the 1990s. This is a Dutchman who stole and then broke the hearts of those at Nottingham Forest, the City Ground as they put it here. A maverick on and off the pitch. He famously refused to play and was then sold when the Reds, Nottingham Forest, were relegated. So a Dutch national team player, 46 appearances for the Netherlands between 1994 and 2004, 14 goals for the Orange. Senior career, club career, taking in Breeder, Celtic, 69 appearances, 44 goals for Celtic. Nottingham Forest, 71 appearances between 97 and 99, 36 goals. He then went to Vitesse Arnhem, Benfica, Feyenoord, Breda, and then finished his career back at Feyenoord. So a Dutch maverick who refused to play for Nottingham Forest, apparently. I don't remember that, but apparently they broke their hearts. We'll do the answer to that question at the end of today's show. So I'm going to take you now over to Harry Warren, without further ado, to talk about yesterday's 3-0 home defeat.
Achtung, Millwall.
Huge welcome to AchtungMillwall, to our show regular. It's the voicemail show, but we're going to open up with Mr. Harry Warren. How are you doing, H, after yesterday's 3-0 tub thumping at the Den?
I've just about warmed up. It's fucking freezing yesterday. I'm normally fine. I'm normally like, I've got like a big fucking ducking down fucking jacket on and warm. But for some unknown reason, I just fucking was freezing cold by the second I was sitting there watching inevitable things happen in front of me.
Yeah, it was a funny day. I mean, obviously a huge amount of hype, which was a bit overhyped.
Mr. Byfanau was on the Colombian marching powder before the game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's my message to the club. You don't need to be playing like very, very loud club music prior to a game. You know, people do want to talk to each other. And I think it's a common thing that the pre-match kind of build-up, H, is a bit over the top for the circumstances that we're in.
Did we introduce Joe Edwards as our head coach and let him walk out after the players as if he was some kind of heavyweight champion of the world?
Yeah,
after
like
a 4-0 win against Sheffield Wednesday that seemingly has been turned into we've just beaten Brazil, so therefore we must be the best club in the world.
Very weird, but there we are. Millwall all over, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. I wanted to get your take on yesterday because I must admit I got home last night feeling a bit irritated. I'd spent my game watching what transpired with a group of Groupon Germans all around me. I was sort of absolutely hemmed in with Germans, none of whom were really paying much attention to the game. They were laughing and talking amongst themselves. One bloke was on his mobile phone for the whole thing. Now, I don't believe in telling people how to watch football, Harry, but it matters to me, and it matters to other blokes. And you're surrounded by people that are just there as a kind of a day out almost. And I don't know. It didn't help my endurance of the game. How was your experience of yesterday, like H?
My endurance of the game, that's a fucking really. I mean, it was better than under Rowett. I'm not gonna lie, even though we lost 3-0.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, we put more passes together in that first sort of 10, 15 minutes. We seemingly put more passes together on the floor, and Zion Fleming dropped into a 6 roll and then sprayed the ball. And I thought the two blokes in front of me went, "Did you go Sheffield?
Mm.
Are you happy now Rowett's gone?" Because I've been calling him a cunt for fucking 18 months, maybe longer. And they were like, "Oh, are you happy now?" And I was like, "He's a bit of a no-mar." "Oh, well, you didn't go to Sheffield Wednesday." I went, "No, I didn't go to Sheffield Wednesday." "Ah, well, we've turned into Barcelona." And I went, "Oh, so should I book the bus for May then?" Fucking if we've turned into Barcelona. And then, for 10 minutes we did look like Barcelona, and I thought, fucking hell, I might have seen the light here. What the fuck? Like, we're
It
playing
was a good
football.
start. We started
Yeah.
well, didn't we?
And this is the point. For 15 minutes, we had all the ball and we looked really good. And I thought, fucking hell, we've cracked this. Fucking, we're playing, passing and moving. We just lack a little bit of penetration because we've got no wingers and everything's got to go through the middle. And Honeyman runs up and down and gets in fucking poor BNC's way. And fucking, we've got nothing on the left hand side because Murray Wallace, bless him, was signed as a fucking makeshift left back fucking 5 seasons ago, and we still haven't replaced him. So I don't get the Murray hate online because the poor fucker's doing his best. It's a bit like Alan Dunn. So everyone turns up to beat Murray, but Murray won't be beaten. And seemingly at this club, that's seen as, even though that should be everything that we want in a player, that seemingly annoys people that you just won't fuck off and die.
Bloke in front of me, a Millwall fan in front of me, was slating Murray by the end, calling him every name under the sun. It's a bit early in the morning to be giving it the full treatment language-wise, but I thought it was a bit unfair because he is who he is, Harry. But anyway, yeah, sorry, carry on, mate.
Yeah, so 15 minutes of brilliant football, and then all of a sudden, the fucking defence opens up like the Red Sea off sort of a 50-50 that we get wrong, which is going to happen in this new system that, they've got to learn patterns and stuff, because that's all it is. And fucking Bart makes a worldie. I think, fuck me, we've got away with that. Right, we'll tighten up now. And we never tightened up.
No, we
we had no ability to tighten up, and I thought Jake Cooper and Harding were actually really, really good, and I thought it was the two either side of them defensively that are fucking shocking. And that's my opinion on BNC. I think he's a brilliant modern fullback, but being a modern fullback, that means attack first, defend second, and that fits into Joe Edwards' type of football that he wants to play. Murray Wallace is a limited left centre back that plays at left back for Millwall because we have no one else, and that's, Bart made, I think then he made a second. I think he might have made a second save at 0-0 that turned out to be offside, and the warning signs were there. And I'm sitting there going, Bart's making fucking worldies here. And then when they scored the first goal that I think changed the afternoon, he made a great save again, and no one fucking clears. All 3 goals, I swear Bart's made an initial save and no one's cleared it away. Now, other people can go, "Oh, fuck me, Bart should push it round the post or whatever." But a couple of the saves, it's like, you shouldn't get there anyway. So anything that he's put on it is fucking brilliant. But no one followed in. No one cleared. No one wanted, we had a lot of, "Oh, let's go forward," real energy about us going forward. But no one wanted to do the dirty shit at the back yesterday. And I feel like clear that ball out the 6-yard box. I think they've scored all 3 goals from tapping to
close range. Being first to the punch, we were second to the punch each time on each of those situations. I mean, to me, the blokes talking about Sheffield Wednesday, you should only be talking about Barcelona. Ironically, listeners, no one should really think that we've transformed into a kind of cross between Galactico era, Real Madrid and Barcelona. But I mean, anyone who watched the game at Sheffield Wednesday, I saw the playback on the Millwall TV. I mean, the warning signs were there because actually Sheffield Wednesday, when they opened up, not by far the worst team, I think, in the league, Harry, but they actually had some decent chance. Now, if they had scored 1, possibly 2, then that 4-0 would suddenly look like a different game. So there was a continuation quality from what we saw at Hillsborough to yesterday at Millwall. Because the flaws were apparent at Sheffield, should have been apparent to anyone who watched it at Sheffield. And they were certainly there yesterday. But mixed in with that is what I would call, I think you used the term, I liked it, the green shoots of recovery. There is a, looking at it in the cold light of day today, I feel like there's a hopeful framework that is forming. I do think probably we don't have the players to play the style that Edwards has in mind, though, Harry. Do you agree?
Oh, do I agree? I think there are
Mm.
certain players that can't play it.
Yeah,
I
no,
think,
I mean personnel
I think,
alterations in
I
January, I
think,
guess.
I think we out wide we're really weak. We have been weak ever since we lost Jeb Wallace. Really, last season we somehow managed to find a way that if Fleming scored, we were all right, and if Bradshaw scored, we were all right. But both of them are seemingly not scoring or not finding, or because that was our only outlet last season, everyone's kind of worked that out.
Mm.
And now you've stopped that, you've stopped us. Like before, our outlet was give it to Jed, and Jed will hopefully do something. Um, and I don't think realistic. And also, the league was a little bit shit last year. I mean, Luton getting promoted was
Poorer than this season, that's for
well,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a spade. It was fucking shit last season, the Championship, and this season it is a lot better. Um, Also, contrasting styles between us and Coventry is that we have now signed a coach who seemingly wants us to
Mm.
pass, like a Pep side, right? Which
Yep.
is great, right? Apart from, I think Millwall were more suited to a Klopp type modern football, which is a sit back, pace, power, fucking go. And that's what Coventry did. Every time they didn't have the ball, I bet that I haven't looked at the possession stats, but I bet you that
No.
first 25 minutes, their possession stats were like fucking 80% Millwall, 20% Coventry. Coventry are leading 1-0 because
Yeah.
they're 11. I don't know what his name was. I don't bother to pay attention to their name, but he fucking was
The,
the
the,
kind of
the
striker that I'd have absolutely loved Millwall to sign. He's tall, he's powerful, he's got pace, he's got presence. Millwall don't sign players like that. They had that Guterres last season, and you sit and you watch these clubs, and
Well,
although we
even
have
the
got
Japanese winger Harry Sakamoto, I
yes,
think, very, very good player. Now, I imagine they've gone to Japan, seen him playing in the J League, I believe it's called, and found him. So I was struck by the thought that in many ways Coventry, yes, he played. I don't know if it's a Rowett style, but certainly the break with speed, pace, and power that you've just described was like Gary Rowett's dream. We just never seem to accumulate the personnel with the pace to
yeah,
play that.
that's different. I think it's different when you fucking our pace and power and dream is that we've sort of if you're committing to a Joe Edwards style of football, which we now must, the I thought the midfield three yesterday, although we end up losing the game, I know this is really weird, right? I didn't think we played that badly, and I think there's like
Right?
a clamour
Okay.
online for us to turn around and say that we were really bad or whatever. We we didn't really create any clear cut goal scoring opportunities, and we weren't clinical with the half chances that we did create. But realistically, they played football, they put effort in. I don't think they shirked any effort. They just were beat. And
Yeah, no, very much. Yeah.
unfortunately, we are going to get beat by sides this season. We are probably a bottom half side. We are in transition. I don't think we're in any danger of getting relegated, and if we do, I think there'll be Joe Edwards will be swiftly back in England's under 21 setup. Because I don't think this chairman, from the appointment to me, has got anything other than building the club into getting promoted in mind. Now, this is now like an ambitious reset that we've done,
Mm.
but we're going to have to take Idins like yesterday and accept that, which is difficult for Millwall fans. But we get beat at someone was fucking slandering the fucking side by the end in my block, and the problem is that we could carry on with Gary Rowett. Gary Rowett is gone, right? That he is dead, right? He's not coming back. And you have to commit. You have to commit to what we're about to watch, and what we're about to watch is going to be slow, painful, and probably this is the season that the season probably had already gone when Rowett had left anyway. We weren't playing particularly well.
Oh, I think
Um,
we got to put the playoffs out of our mind, listeners. I think
yeah, and
this
yeah,
is realism now, isn't it? Did I read? Did you on our group chat? You said there's a thing on X about like a people fondly remembering the days of Gary Rowett now.
yeah, there is. Yeah, there is a slight fucking clamour, like the
Like,
last vestiges of the Rowett in
it's
crowd
like
that
going
fucking
misty eyed for the rationing in the
yeah,
war. How it kept us all slim.
yeah. Fucking yesterday,
Oh
you'd have
dear.
actually died of boredom rather than the hypothermia getting you. It was no, it's just I just think people are a bit spoiled. I really do. I like, and also, like, I know this is stupid, but I think you all secretly. I'm talking to you, listener. This is directly at you. You
Not
secretly
me.
want
You, the listener, in your
the
ears right
listener.
now.
You
Yeah.
secretly want 4-4-2, don't you? I know you do, you dirty sluts. You definitely want 4-4-2. It's a dirty thought, and you can't say it because no one plays it. But I generally think that people get annoyed, right? Like we're knocking the ball around, and people like at 1-0 down, and people are like, get it fucking forward. It's like, whoa. We don't do that anymore. That's not. You didn't want that. When I saw
That's
you
the
all online talking about how you wanted progressive football, we don't do that anymore. If you wanted that, you could have gone and got fucking Big Sam, and we could have fucking hit a target man all
that's
year,
the
or
benefit
Matt
of
Smith.
sitting in the Groupon stand, Harry. You only get one or two voices calling people cunts up there. Otherwise, it's all European, Central European languages up there. So you don't get the old Millwall so much up there.
I don't mind. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't mind the old Millwall. Like, I'm taking the piss, but I love it. But we're shit at the den, right? Just accept it. If you
We've
want to watch
become
us
so.
win, you're going to have to go away from home, and that's really fucking tedious. Because 9 times out of 10 we'll get beat or we'll draw, right? But you're all going to Ipswich on Wednesday night. I watched them on the telly last night. They didn't look that good. All right, Jed fucking ran from his own half and set one up in the second half, and I thought, oh, she sort of longingly stroked the fucking
It's
meme
like
of stroking the photo.
looking at your ex on Facebook or something. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? There was a moment in the first half when we were playing well in the first half, and we were passing the ball well, which is refreshing to see. So we do have players to across the midfield to pick out, the pass and so on. I think Coventry probably adapted to the game as it went along and became increasingly awkward for us to play against. We didn't really have the wit to unlock that, Harry. We have the squad that we have, and I think there's probably a limit on how clever we can be in terms of unpicking a mass defence. And they did put bodies behind the ball,
There's
and we found that very difficult to deal with, didn't we?
we do, and there's 4 or 5 players who are shit, and that is just the bottom
Is
line
that
of
a
it.
technical term? Is it?
That is there is four or
That's the
five
football
players.
technical
Well,
term in the
no,
FA,
like
coach.
there are 4 or 5 players that I've just got no time for. Like I just watch them, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like we let other players go. What are you doing here? Like that's it. Are you here just solely because to make the numbers up? You're no good to me. I think Duncan Watmore is the most frustrating football player in recent Millwall history, because he should be a very, very good Championship player, and he isn't.
He got
Because
forward well when he first came in. He made a run down the right side and got to the goal line, pulled it back. But I know what you mean. He's hardly ever in the team. It's a bit like Joe Bryan. I mean, you can see they're good players, but never around.
I'd describe him as speedboat no driver. Like he just fucking runs around wherever he wants to, not really got a position, seemingly just runs fast. And that it's a bit like the Ollie Burke thing, like this idea that you must have pace. Yeah, but if you've got no fucking football brain, it's no good, right? Like
No,
you're
football
running
brain's
into blind,
essential.
right? And there hasn't, Amarku had a chance yesterday, he done wrong with it, but I'd rather see Amarku play the entire game than fucking Longman, who isn't ours and doesn't really like. He's got a bit of the James Henry about him. He can't beat a man. He's good at crossing the ball, but he never beats anyone to cross the ball, and he doesn't get the space or time to fucking whip the ball in anyway. And but if he does, normally our fucking poor Tom Bradshaw's fucking camped out 65 yards from goal because he's just made 40 unseen runs by our fucking team, and then he's fucked by the time he actually gets a chance. He can't get on the end of it. It's
I, I
I saw Bradshaw getting slated on Twitter. I'm not refusing to call it X. Um, I saw Bradshaw getting fucking walloped on Twitter yesterday night, like about how he's fucking this and that. The cunt got 20 odd goals last season. If you feed him the right service, he scores goals, right?
but he
But
had no
we
service
don't
yesterday. As
find
you
him
look back,
at all.
no.
We can't get the ball. He likes a ball. Bradshaw's bread and butter is finding him in the box, just finding it at his feet in the box, and he'll hit it at goal. That is what he does really, really well. And he's a poacher, and that's it. But we're not giving him a chance. Like and this bit as well. Like he had that header near the end at 3-0. It didn't really
Mm.
matter, but he fucking put it into Rose Head. It's just it was a day where we could have played till today, and we wouldn't have scored.
No, we
But
weren't. We weren't going to get anything out of yesterday. Presumably, I mean, I had this conversation yesterday, Harry. I just want to get your take before we close. I mean, it would have been no manager's going to make a change to a team that's just gone to Sheffield and put four past them. So I think the unchanged side, unless there was an injury, was probably expected. I would imagine Wednesday we'll see some changes. I thought Murray did get exposed badly yesterday. We know his strengths, but also we know his weaknesses. Would you make changes Wednesday, or who would you bring in to
that's
try
the
and change?
problem. What do you do? How do you solve a problem like a left back? Because we've
Well,
only
before
got
the
one.
January transfer window, I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, because you haven't because Byron's injured and Murray's the only fit left back, isn't he? I don't
Yeah.
think we've got another one, so you can't change Murray.
Unless you can play Ryan Leonard there, I don't know, but
Ryan Leonard's still injured, isn't he?
he was on the bench yesterday.
Oh
Wasn't
fuck
he?
me! Don't rush Ryan Leonard back. I need Ryan Leonard good between now and Christmas, and he can only play 8 games at a time before he gets injured. So you need to spell them out. But no, I
It's a
think
problem. I mean, I think you're right. I think we have to expect a period of transition stroke difficulty because the squad is what it is,
I
and
mean we
that's
could go. In theory, we could go to a back five. I know this is swearing, but you could go to a back five and push Ryan Leonard or Murray Wallace out to the left wing back role, and then in theory, the ball playing centre back is Wes Harding, who yesterday done that quite well. That gets BNC the freedom to be a proper right sided outlet and not have to do as much defending, so we can kind of play on his pace, and then you build it from there. Whether or not he'd go 5-3-2-1 or whatever he wants to do, but the I think the main thing is that we played a four. The four got exposed. You can't really change the four unless you had somebody else in there because the people that are left, you're not going to take BNC out for Danny McNamara. I
you
mean,
wouldn't have thought unless you have to. But no, I
well, I
wouldn't.
mean, the only other option there is to drop Honeyman and play
Is
Cuffy as a
Danny
right.
injured? Is Danny injured? He's not
I,
been on the bench yesterday. I don't know.
I don't know. I generally didn't pay a bit of I try to avoid. This is me being honest now. This is Harry's honesty corner. I
Oh,
try to
like
avoid.
he's never honest. Like he's
Yeah,
never honest.
exactly. I try to avoid the club's output on social media because all it does is frustrate me. This is men's and women's team. Both of you fucking drive me mad. Because it's cringe and I can't deal with cringe. So, but therefore, I don't try. I turn up at the game. I don't watch Millwall TV. Because I think it's a travesty that as a season ticket holder I have to pay for it, and it's a moral thing. So I don't watch any of the club's real output. So I turn up and the 11 are the 11, and who's on the bench is on the bench, and we go from there.
I mean, the bench yesterday was kind of interesting. Obviously, we've done the starting 11 and we know how it finished. But the bench, I mean, just we've got Truman, no Sarkic, who I did read was fit and available, but no, was not on the bench.
£1.2 million well spent in the summer.
We've got Connor Truman, which I mean, I've not seen him, but fine, you know, that, I'm sure that the boy's good. But Sean Hutchinson, who's increasingly fragile, like the proverbial Ming vase. Nisbet, who also is prone to an injury or two, isn't he? Billy Mitch seems to have. I mean, he didn't feature at all yesterday. He was on the bench. A forgotten man here. There's a name for you, Harry. Alan Campbell. Do you remember him, or the lone player?
Yeah,
I don't know what
I
he's doing. I
remember
don't know
him.
what he's doing in the
Well,
team.
basically, I think he's here till January when we can fuck him off. I think that's generally like the signing of them two near the end of the window strikes me as the last panicked act as the man standing on the deck of the Titanic as it's fully rotated. So
The misty-eyed Rowett nostalgists will be doing their
yeah,
nut, isn't that?
they will, but it's sort of gone vertical. We've got, the Titanic's now vertical, and he sort of brought Campbell and Longman in. I don't like either of them. I don't think they're better than what we've got.
Campbell's, Ryan Leonard, obviously rehabilitating from after injury. What more we saw at Marco and Essay. I mean, I would think I agree with you about Ryan Longman. I wasn't terribly struck on him yesterday at all, and I've not really seen enough from him to get me excited. I am excited when I see Idemo Imaku come into the side because he does have that essential Mill ingredient, which is hunger. And he looked like he wanted it yesterday when he did come in, albeit the game had got away from us by that stage.
I
So
don't like playing him out on the wing though. I've got to be totally honest. I think he should play him through the middle. Play him through the middle. He's got pace and power and presence. Play the fucker to run him behind,
yeah,
and then we can say. But I'd like to see that because realistically, if he can run beyond, look how it happened for Coventry yesterday. they run beyond us. That's what they did. And you find players that run beyond defences. Bradshaw, for all his uff and puff and work ethic, isn't going to do that. That also allows Fleming to get on the half turn and just spin it round the corner. You can't do that.
What do you make of Fleming yesterday? I mean, obviously
He got pelters, and I don't really know why. I don't think it was any. There's this thing with Fleming that people like. Millwall like a boo boy, right? This is. We like to cunt people off, and we've got this weird thing at the moment that there's not really necessarily an outstanding Millwall, one of our own boo boy candidates like a Ben Thompson, Sid Nelson, Danny McNamara.
Well, Billy's on the bench; he's not featuring.
Yeah, exactly. So he can't.
He's also a really, really nice person, so
Yeah,
he can't.
yeah.
It's quite hard to hate someone who's lovely.
Right? So
you want some merry little bloke that looks like he might be hanging around in the venue on the Slash or something,
Yeah, exactly. So we haven't got one of them at the minute. So we're having to try to create like this narrative around Fleming that he don't want to be here, and like let's get the fucking elephant out the room. Would you want to fucking be here? Let's be honest, right? You fucking come from Holland, right? You play here for a year. You think your agent goes to you, get there. Fucking if they do well and you do well, you'll get picked up by a Premier League team. They put an offer in, they reject it, and he don't go. And if you've ever been at work and you've gone for a promotion and you ain't got it, let's be honest. Do you actually give a fuck about the firm that you work for, or maybe do you, give 40% less? And I'm not saying that that's right. I'm just saying it's to be expected. So he will do something during the next 6 months of this season. He will turn the corner because he'll have to. Because if not, his career's
I was going to say. I mean, the professional football world doesn't really allow for that kind of. I mean, everyone's human. I get what you're saying, but it doesn't really allow for that approach in truth because you're so public. Whereas, if I didn't give 40% of work or maybe more, listeners, I could hide behind my desk in my office and there's a million and one ways to dodge it. But
your 84 toilet breaks a day would be.
Yeah, I won't go into all that on this podcast, listeners. It's
How to Skive with Nick and Harry. It's a new podcast.
but I think my point with Fleming is he's clearly talented boy. I don't think anyone can deny that. Whether he's as talented as we've all made him out to be, I don't know.
I
whether he's the new Johan Cruyff, was he?
He's
because
not
I think we expect
Cruyff.
But we expect game-changing performances from him sometimes. I just wonder whether that's placing too much expectation on him. I include myself because my formative years were spent watching Johan Cruyff, and he's Dutch, so that makes him the same. That's the twisted logic of it all. But I don't know. I think certainly yesterday's performance faded as once we went a goal behind. I think there was a visible dropping of performance from there onwards. And I think that's a problem. That's something that Jarvis does have to tackle.
I wonder if a fully fit Ryan Leonard gets back into this side as a midfielder. And right. I say this because Sav got an early yellow card yesterday, and it really does affect Sav. And it weren't a yellow card; it was right.
It was lucky to be on the pitch, Harry.
No.
There was a challenge. I know they surrounded the referee, but I thought he looked a bit.
You're 7,000 miles away on the other side.
I'm 7,000 miles. I'm up surrounded by.
It's directly opposite me. He won the ball cleanly. The man ran over his other leg that did not tackle him. 20 seconds later, there's a 2-footed challenge in front of me. There is a 2-footed challenge. It doesn't matter whether or not you start with 2-footed as 2-footed. If your legs come together and the referee doesn't book him, but he's booked several 30 seconds over for the one where they stretch with the studs up. But it's very difficult sometimes to keep the studs down. I've seen, and he won the ball cleanly. So he's booked him because of the studs up challenge. It's bollocks. That rule is absolute bollocks. We all know it's bollocks. If you want to make football a non-contact sport, by all means, let's fucking do that because the game's gone anyway. We all know the game's gone. I watched that. There's an account. If you want to make yourself angrier this morning before you go out and go for your run, or
if you need to make yourself angry,
or take your kids to football or whatever, go on Twitter and find the fucking page called Twitter Refs or whatever. They are the biggest bunch of cunts on Twitter, bar none. Right, because they just defend. Refs can do indefensible things for them, and they can defend it. And I try to be balanced as someone that still plays amateur football, and I try to. And there are some very, very good referees at amateur level, but fuck me, there are terrible refs now in the system, and he was one of them yesterday. I didn't think
Sunday morning therapy for me. This is, listeners. We'll leave it there. I'm going to get on to the voicemails. Big thank you to everyone that sent me voicemails yesterday. I will say thank you to you, Harry, for joining me this Sunday morning. Big appreciation. Give me, what do you think? Result at Ipswich. What do you think? Score prediction before I leave you.
I fucking hate Ipswich tonight, so
I know you do.
I'm probably clouded by hatred.
By hatred. You fancy yourself?
I could see us getting a 1-0, but I think we're so defensively. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. I'd like to think that's the kind of result. We are quite open. I could see Bart having a weldy though, because obviously Bart.
Man of the match for me yesterday, Bart Bielkowski.
Yes, in passing, I would like to say that it is a relief to have the best shot stopper at the club. Shot stopper at the club yesterday, because I think that the best thing about your goalkeeper should be the ability to keep the ball out the back of the net. And when Bart's level is like a 6 out of 10 every week, which includes maybe 2 or 3 saves that he shouldn't make. Yeah, we know he's a bit fucking all over the place, but when he plays a regular set of games, which he now has, all that rustiness that he looked awful when he was out that side and come back for that FA Cup tie last season, all that's gone, and now he looks back to his best.
Oh, he's my first choice keeper. I mean, I haven't seen Truman, so I don't. On the bench yesterday, from what I saw of Sarkic, he didn't do much for me. But no, Bielkowski.
I feel like that was a bit of a. I feel like the Sarkic thing was like, I don't know. I'm guessing, but there does seem to be, and I wanted to say this as well, because I've sort of waited till the dust settled on the Edwards and stuff. I think it's very telling from the dressing room that if you compare the leaving of our previous manager, that there was lots of outpouring from players on their Twitter accounts around how much that he'd done for them and made them feel welcome and what there's been none of that about Gary Rowett, and there never is from anyone at any football club. And I genuinely believe this idea of fucking hell, it's boring Gary. I think he's a very difficult man to get on with. And that's my opinion, and that's what I guess has been one of the reasons that the new chairman maybe didn't get on with him as best as the old chairman did.
Possible.
Because to me that looks like, even under Barrett we were like, the team look like they've had a fucking we looked track off their shoulders.
The game was the Adam Barrett game. Can't remember where we played now, but the team Watford. There was yes, you can talk about the performance and so on, but they did look like they were happier.
There's a lot to be said for a happy workplace.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a journey ahead. I like the direction that Joe's taking us in, but it's going to take us some time. I think that's probably the best way to leave it there, Harry. Really,
I think as well that realistically the kids in this next 6 weeks period might be the time, because
to start to see them.
Yeah, because I think if you're going to have these loan players that you don't fancy, you might as well play the kids, because you're going to make changes in January, or hope to. I'm assuming there's been some, or he knows. Like for me as well, there's a couple of things. It's like Creswell's at Leeds. Leeds are probably going to get promoted. He knows him from the under-21 setup. Do you have a little cheeky? Do you want to come here for 6 months? And that'll make sure
that would lift the club. That would lift the crowd as well. It's going to be an interesting period ahead. I'm looking forward to it.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, do not fall in love with a lone player. It's a recipe for disaster.
Big thank you, Harry Warren. Thanks for joining us, H.
No worries, mate.
Hello?
Morning, Nick. Just a quick one when I'm walking the dogs in the pissing cold, trying to clear my head after yesterday. First 10 minutes, really good. Tried to play attacking football on the front foot, put the pressure on Cov, but it didn't take them long to work us out, and they just kept catching us on the counter. To be fair, I think I could have worked that out after Joe Edwards' interview after Sheffield Wednesday. I'm not criticising him because he's playing the football, or he wants to play the football that we want to see. But when he said one of our goals was most pleasing because we had all of our players in the final third of the pitch, it's always going to happen. We get beaten at home by teams that counter on us and counter us so quickly. And that's exactly what Cov done yesterday. As soon as Norton Cuffy attacks forward, goes marauding on one of his runs, which we all love, he leaves massive space behind him. And if that isn't covered by Honeyman, then they're going to attack us. Now, he was on loan at them last season, so they know him. They know how he plays. They're not stupid. What they also done well was they put pressure on Denore. Everything that we do well goes through Denore. So if they can pressure him high and don't give him any time on the ball, then he's not going to be able to spray those passes around that we like. Honourable mentions for Bart and Harding. Thought they played well. Harding I think should be our captain. I know he's only new, but he's the one person who tries to take the game by the scruff of the neck, and the players quite literally. Sav, love him, but as soon as you make a stupid tackle with 2 feet, you are going to get a yellow card in the 20th minute, and that's going to sort of then hinder you for the rest of the game. Bradshaw, love the man, but he's not what we need in this team. Their striker, Haji Wright, he's not a great player, but yesterday he done what we need. He's a big lump, bullies the defenders, holds the ball up well and brings others into attack, and that's kind of where we went wrong. Feel sorry for Bart, made some superb saves, back to his shot stopping best, but what can he do when his defenders aren't then defending that second ball? Hence why they scored their second goal. Longman, what can I say about him? As someone, I think I read a tweet, I can't remember if it was from yesterday, said you're not going to win anything with a front three of Bradshaw, Longman and Honeyman, and that's damn right. I said to mate Mackie yesterday, this team will look markedly different next season, I have no doubt at all, because this team have shown yesterday they cannot play the system that Joe Edwards wants. So we'll give it time, we'll see how it goes. And for the last 5 seconds that I've missed out, coming you lines.
Big thank you, Vince Lee, messaging us via the X direct messaging service. You only get 2 minutes 20 on there, I think, at a go, Vince. So I'll send you my mobile number, mate, because that's good summary, and I'd like to hear more from Vince. Mate, you're right about the Edwards revolution pushing forwards. Obviously, it will leave gaps at the back. We got hurt yesterday. I'm going to hope that the revolution also involves a bit of an evolution, in that we have to be conscious of that particular part of the game. I did read in the post-match interview, I think it was with Southwark News, that Edwards said it requires much more energy and running and awareness across the team than perhaps we've been used to so far. And he didn't name any players, but I think that was part of the problem yesterday, as you say rightly. Big gaps being left. We saw it at Sheffield. We certainly saw it yesterday at home versus Coventry. Wes Harding, yeah, I like Wes. He's got a Millwall spirit about him, and that's something that we do desperately need in that side at the moment. Certainly at the Den, anyway. Big thank you then to Vince. Let's have a listen now to Matt Richards, show regular Matt Richards.
Hello, Nick. It's Matt Richards here. Blimey. Same shit, different manager, I suppose. Is it? Yeah, I suppose it's the honeymoon period is officially over for Joe. Yeah, that was terrible, wasn't it? Just no real difference to, it's not going to criticise Edwards. Or Joe, he's only just got there. Maybe it's a good thing in a way, because he realises this is what we are. This is what the players do. This is what they're capable of. The game against Sheffield Wednesday, maybe papering over cracks really. I think we got the answer as to how good a Millwall performance that was, and how shit a team Sheffield Wednesday were today with that performance. Coventry just wanted it more than us. They were faster than us, fitter than us. They attacked with pace, purpose. We were ponderous, slow, indecisive in the final third. We never looked like scoring. I suppose the first half, there was, first 20 minutes you seemed a bit positive, lots of passes, and good passes as well. Didn't create much, but first 20 minutes, not too bad. But then after that, we were pushing players forward, which is okay. Don't mind that. And then we're getting caught on the break. Really, they could have been 2-0 up really at half time. At least 2 or 3 up. We had the cross shot by Honeyman, but they have no real clear-cut chances. It's just depressing, really. Not much else to say. It's kind of got a difficult game Wednesday. Then back here again. Nobody could be looking forward to coming and seeing us play at home again. It's just depressing. But I suppose to end on a positive note, Edwards is seeing it for what it is. We have got a January window coming up, and all right. So he's already said he's not probably going to spend big or get a lot of players in then. But this is when he reassesses or he assesses the squad, isn't it? This is where he makes his decisions going forward for January or the summer. And a lot of those players just aren't good enough, really. I think the only player who came out with a bit of credit today was probably Bart. He was really unlucky with the goals because he made decent saves and, the first 2 goals. And, he saved us a few times today, but nobody else there did themselves any paid or any sort of pride. So that's it from a freezing cold New Cross train station. Cheers, Nick. Come on, you lines.
Some fantastic train noises of the United Kingdom material in that message by Matt, albeit a downbeat message, but if there are any listening Charlton fans, they would be uncontrollable at the moment with all those passing train noises there. Same shit, different manager. Same outcome, I think, is the way I'd put it, Matt. I know what you mean, and I do. I felt quite downbeat last night, to be frank. When I got indoors, I feel a bit better about things today. I've had a look at the extended highlights now. This is being recorded late on Sunday evening. Certainly there were flaws in the side. We did try and play the game in a modern style, and I take some crumbs of comfort. Obviously, we do need to get results with that as well. Certainly. At least 50% of our games being wins, hopefully. If that's 2, I think that'd be 2, probably about 35% of our games need to be wins, and then we need to avoid defeat in a chunk of others to hold our own. We do want to see the game played in the right way. A lot of us have been calling for more attacking football, and that's not going to be a pain-free process. The honeymoon is over. I think honeymoon ended on the glamour of the night out in Sheffield, and now it's back to hard work. Fingers crossed that Joe Edwards has indeed done his homework. He must know what he came into and the limitations of the squad. They were painfully exposed at times yesterday, and 3-0 at home does its own talking. But big thank you there to Matt. Let's have a listen now to our next caller. There's John Rankin. Well done, John, for making it to the game yesterday. I'm going to look forward to this one.
Evening, Nick. John Rankin here. On the drive home down the A21, I was kind of turning over in my mind what I was going to say about today's performance. First of all, it shows the difference between Coventry and Sheffield Wednesday, I suppose, in that, we started off the same against Coventry as we did against Sheffield Wednesday. And I've got to say, we were looking around in our little corner of the Cold Blow Lane end, sort of nodding our heads, thinking, this is nice, we like this, bit of possession. But after a while, it just seemed to be possession for the sake of possession, really. It was, training ground moves. It was short, sharp passes, but no movement forward. And that's how it remained. And Coventry were a different outfit from Sheffield Wednesday, and they quickly learned how to negate this, and they started to keep Casper Denore and our other midfielders quiet. When I say midfield, I'm talking about Saville, Fleming and Denore, and they kept them very quiet. And with keeping them quiet, that allowed them to press down our channels, to exploit our left-sided defence. And you could see it coming. I mean, we were playing possession football to try and entice them out, to make gaps, but it's pointless doing that if you're not going to exploit the gaps that you get. So it's hard to talk about individual Millwall players. I mean, I thought, Jake Cooper started to play quite well. Looked a lot better with the ball at his feet, but it just went nowhere. And it's a baptism of fire, really, for Joe Edwards. Because whatever his philosophy is of football, you can see now why possibly Rowett took the approach that he did. last season against the same side with Gyökeres. They went 2-0 ahead and we beat them 3-2. So I'm just saying, I think if we're going to play technical possession-based football, it's going to require a different level of sort of attainment than where we are now. So I'm sorry to talk vaguely because I really don't want to get in the, so early on in terms of picking out individual players for what they did or didn't do. It's a tough one to take this, another 3-0 battering at home. And I don't really know what to say. All I can say is that, Joe Edwards won one, lost one. He's seen what we can do against poorish sides, and he's seen what, sides who know how to play a technical game can do to us. So let's hope he kind of learns from it, rotates the squad, looks at individual players, and just uses it as a huge learning curve. That's the only thing he can do. He's got to pick them players up. He's got to get them positive. He's got to obviously make changes. If he sends out the same team against Ipswich, then, that is going to be daft. So he's got to make some changes. He's got to get things sorted out. And on to Portman Road. So I'd also like to say on a personal note, thank you to the Millwall players for sending me a wonderful get well soon message. I had a bit of an episode earlier on in the week, and I'm recovering from it. I made my way up to the den today, which is good. Don't tell the doctors. But, I feel okay. I'm 58, so I've still got some years in me. And I was able to recover. But I was really, really buzzing from the message that you organised and Billy Taylor and Max McLennan did. And I just wanted to put on my record, how much that meant to me. And I wish everyone all the best on social media that sent me good wishes. And I'm very, very grateful, very, very humbled. And it's on to Portman Road. So come on, you Lions.
Well done, John, for making it to the den yesterday. I, as is well known, I don't make any secret of this, listener, I killed over, should in some ways be dead. 2.5 years ago, I got very lucky. My wife was on hand to call the ambulance, and they did all what they do to you in the heart surgery at St Bart's, place that every time I go past it now, I kind of mentally take my hat off if I had a hat. And it gives you a kind of a different perspective on life, I suppose, afterwards. So, but what I didn't do was go down the den a week after having keeled over one sunny Saturday summer morning. So I want to say well done to you, John, and big well done to the players and Max and Billy for putting that little montage together, because I know when I was ill last summer, not last summer, 2 summers ago, the messages that I got, some lovely messages online, and you just get such a wave of good vibes from people. I'm trying to find the right words. I'm not sure I am, but it made a big difference to me. And I'm hoping that things like that, the message we saw on the screen yesterday for the poor grieving family of the baby, young baby that passed away. These things do make a difference, and I'll be upfront with all you listeners. I've always been a bit cynical of stuff like that, but when you're actually in the situation, it makes a big difference. So I'm well pleased for you, John, and for terrific work to get to the football. Yes, I wish it had been a better game for you, mate. But there you go. You can't control these things. We certainly faded away after a bright start yesterday. We can't do that, and the possession football that we're trying to play is aiming higher. It's the modern way, it's the way most teams play. We've seen the limitations of your traditional Millwall 4-4-2 and the direct style that the likes of Harris have played. I mean, it has its excitement and it's done us proud in League One. But if we are seriously going to try and aim any higher, we've got to adjust this new style. Almost certainly it's going to need new personnel. Main aim for this season, in my opinion, depending on who we can get from the youth and from the transfer window in January. Main aim is obviously just to finish as high up the table as possible. I think everyone's got to start putting out any idea of runs into the playoffs. I don't think that's a realistic thought. survival. We're not really in survival mode yet, but we want to get a couple of wins, even if we have to get those away from home, whilst we somehow gain the confidence and self-belief to get results at the Den. Certainly yesterday, I agree with you, John, would have exposed all of the problems that Joe Edwards has to deal with. And that's going to be the price that we pay. I think open football with possession leaves you open a little bit, and that's going to be the price we pay for it. Anyway, let's move along. Let's have a listen now to Matt Webb. Let's have a listen to Matt Webb.
Morning, Nick. Matt Webb here. Apologies for the background noise. It's looks like it's a group cycle session in my local gym today. Yeah, well, didn't exactly go according to plan yesterday. The homecoming of Joe Edwards. Didn't expect much really. Yes, it was good to be on a high from Sheffield. Yeah, in some ways I think we had a lot more confidence as fans that we'd do a run over Coventry, who have only got 5 points away from home all season. So I thought we started off really well. I thought we were aggressive, passing it forward, which was really good. And yeah, just didn't know what happened. Once that first goal came in, that was it. It was heads down, oh here we go again sort of scenario. But you know, can't blame the manager on this. Well, can't blame the manager really. He's trying to bring his tactics and his instructions and his objectives to the team. But when you have got players that are at par, lower Championship standard / upper League One standard, you know, that's the hand you're dealt with until he gets some of his players in, which obviously the earliest point will be January. So I think it's just going to be continuous yin and yang of Millwall. I mean, I'm looking forward to Wednesday night because A, we're playing away, which we seem to be better. B, we're playing in Orange, which we seem to play better in. And yeah, I mean, we've just got to stay upbeat. It's going to be a rocky month until January. It's not been, I don't think the fixture gods have been too kind with us for next month, but it's what it is. But how many times have we gone into an international break, winning a game on a higher, come back from the international break and get served up that? It's not the first time, but you know, we just got to grind it out for the time being. You just got to suck it up and get on with it. And I'm still confident he will. I mean, there's a few grumbles around my way about the style of football, but Christ's sake, I enjoyed it. You know, I think more and more he works with the squad, the more and more you'll see improvement, definitely. I've got to admit that the left side of our team at the moment looks woeful. And I say I'm not picking players out, I'm picking positions. I think, yeah, the left side just is absolutely woeful for me. Subs made an impact, so hopefully they'll be in the recognition for Wednesday. And we roll on. And that's it, we just got to carry on. Come on, you Lions. And also, get well soon, John. We need you back on that walking football pitch, mate. So, yeah, get well soon, John Rankin. Up Lions.
Well said, Matt. Well said, mate. Yeah, a nice. I think a bit of optimism is due, despite the thumping of a 3-0 home loss. And as we've said across all of these shows this weekend, these review shows, we can't keep on losing big at home. You know, it's just unacceptable. That said, there are the signs of the bones, the framework, whatever you want to call it, the structure of a style, and it's going to need probably a new mix of players to achieve that, and that can't come soon enough. My main hope is, as I've said already on this show, is that we get enough out of the season to at least finish in the bottom half of the table, above the relegation zone for sure, and then with a sense of progress in the air. Oh, by the way, we're playing at Ipswich, not Norwich, Matt. I think this will be all the same in East Anglia, isn't it? But yeah, no, so nicely optimistic stuff, although optimism, listeners, is always a fragile bloom. You know, there we are. Let's have a listen now to Bill Slack. Come on, Bill.
Hello, Nick. Bill Slack. Depressed, pissed off, miserable. That was actually me before I left to go and watch Millwall. I actually thought they were going to cheer me up today. Can you believe it? Felt like such a wally walking out of the ground. Do you know, for the first time in 6 years, I actually put Millwall in my accumulator as well. That's how much I bought into the revolution. I don't know. What can you say? You know, I mean, you can't give Edwards stick. He's been there 3 weeks. He's stuck with a set of players who cannot play at home for reasons I just don't understand. Although it's definitely got to do with bollocks. There is no bollocks in that team. He's trying to get him to play a different way. I get all that, but I was massively shocked at how open at the back we were in that first half. That first half hour, they had 4 big chances. Four chances where there were more than them than us running towards our goal. You don't really expect to see that. Whatever they were trying to do, move up the pitch as a team, move defend as a team, just didn't happen. There was such a gap between the midfield and the defence that first half hour. They could and should have scored 4. I think Honeyman hit the post with a bit of a fluky one in the first half, but that game should have been out of sight in the first half. And then we go in, 1-0, come out and you think, well, he's had a chance to have a word with him, will he change it? Something happens, someone inspires someone, and we come out and we're worse than we were the first half. I left on 85 minutes, I missed the 3rd goal, and do you know what it was? I didn't have the stomach to listen to another away support celebrating at the Den. I just can't cope with it anymore. Just had enough. And as we got under the arches there, the goal goes in again and 3-0 down. Coventry have not won in 7 games, and they come down to us and make it look like a piece of piss. Something has to change. I've read like a few bits on Twitter from Millwall supporters saying that there's 3 worse teams than us. But honestly, if our home form continues the way it continues, and what I'm saying is lose every week, what we're saying that we're going to rely on our away form to stay in the league. We go up to Ipswich midweek. We'll get done up there. I mean, as a single Millwall supporter, I think we'll win, although it will be pretty Millwall to go up or to go over there and win. But we lose that. I don't know. I was genuinely surprised first half. 66% possession in that first half, and they had all the chances. So Rowett, we couldn't get the ball, and when we did get the ball, we didn't know what to do with it. And now we've got the ball, and are proving that we don't know what to do with it. But like I say, under Rowett, they'd have got booed off at half time. I've never understood booing your own team, let alone going off at half time, but they'd have got booed at half time. I don't know if they got booed at full time because they weren't in there. And Edwards will get support up to a point, but I think there's some residue animosity around the club after Rowett, and I think if we have a bad run of games from here, the crowd will turn, not necessarily on Edwards. Perhaps they'll turn on the players. I'm not sure, but whatever happens, it's not going to be a pleasant environment for a bloke who's never managed a football league team, and could become a very difficult job very quickly for the bloke. Can't be losing 3-0 at home. Well, you can every fucking week. Yeah, I'll speak to you soon, Nick. Come your lines. Stop fucking conceding so many goals at home and give us something to cheer about, for fuck's sake. See you, mate.
Big thank you to Bill. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I mean, no, you can't keep losing at home like we are and have been this season. Losing decisively. We've said it a few times over these 2 shows that we've done this weekend. And I got home last night and like yourself, I felt pissed off. It does grind you down, keep getting beat badly at home, listening to the away fans, all the things you just said, so I get it. I really hope that Joe Edwards is given time, and the current squad, what you might call the senior players of the current squad, have to step up to the plate. Whether they've got it in them to do that or not will be the question. I would also not be afraid, if I was in Joe Edwards' shoes, of bringing in some of the kids, because the Roman Essays, the Idamoa Marcus, the Adam Malarkeys, even recalling maybe Chinokoli from Bromley. Now, I'm not football man enough to tell you whether they're at the right stage of development. I do know that I've seen Mill teams in the past where, famously we've been forced to play youngsters because of the financial situation at the club, and they have stepped up. So it's a sink or swim situation. We have to find some quality, because I think that's the thing that's gone begging. That's the big thing yesterday. The 60% possession statistic, I saw something like, I can't remember what it was now, 66, 63, 60 plus possession, and yet you do nothing with it, is telling in terms of squad quality. And all those players that took the field yesterday have to ask themselves, do they have that ingredient for Joe and his team, who I believe are good quality coaches, to work with and raise their game accordingly, because otherwise there will be others looking for their places, hopefully very, very soon. Hopefully at Ipswich. I don't think that we can go there and name an unchanged side again, which like I said already in these shows, I kind of understood from Sheffield, but not for Ipswich. Let's take a listen now to Angelo Miliotto.
Hi Nick, Angelo mate. We've been brought down back to earth with a bang after today. Really strange, mate. Obviously, we know that it's going to take time. So in my eyes, I'm not even going to go down the manager route until January. He's got to work with these guys and get across what he wants to get across. Obviously, we saw a lot more close passing, less long balls. Bit scary at times, but I think we're got to get used to, especially when you see Cooper doing it. Talking about the players, Bart was man of the match, obviously, and unlucky 2 of them goals that he's done 2 great saves and they've fallen to their players. But I thought Bart was our man of the match without a shadow of a doubt. I thought Norton Cuffey worked hard. I'm not saying he played well, but he worked hard. Kept going. I thought the defence looked a little bit below par today. But the most worrying thing was how they was opening us up in the middle. The amount of space that they were getting into in the middle was very concerning. So hopefully he addresses that pretty sharpish. I don't think Longman brought much to the table. I'm not sure that I would start Longman at Ipswich. Bradshaw was very disappointing. Very disappointing, I thought. Fleming was disappointing. And to be honest with you, the midfielders, they touched the ball a lot today, but they wasn't as good as what they have been, So that was a little bit disappointing as well. But and obviously that guy, that Japanese player, that Coventry had, he's destined for the Premiership, and he was like giving Murray Wallace a torrid time. Great player they got there. Coventry were a lot better than what I thought they'd be, considering only taking 2 points out of 6. But listen, let's keep our chin up. Let's keep the faith. I've just seen the manager's full interview on Millwall TV, and he comes across very, very disappointed, which he should be, saying that we didn't do the basics. So let's hope we get some good work done before we go to Portman Road, because that's going to be a toughie. But if it wasn't for Bart, mate, it could have been bloody 7-8-0 today, I think. But although we did have a couple of chances late in the second half, But I got to start. You got to start Watmore. I thought he looked bright when he come on. He made a few things happen, so I'm definitely starting him. But Honeyman was good at Sheffield Wednesday, but he didn't do it today. Looked a bit leggy. Longman, I can't have Longman at the moment, not from what I've seen last couple of games. So hopefully we'll see some changes. Might be time to bring in the experience. Might be time to bring Hutch and Leonard in. Just to solid it up a little bit more, because we did look pretty open. But anyway, I'm waffling now. Still positive. Let's go Ipswich, get some points. Come on, you Lions.
Big thank you, Angelo. Yeah, the Japanese player's name was Sakamoto, which made me think of the David Bowie film Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. I think the Sakamoto was a musician, wasn't he? Was it the Yellow Magic Orchestra? I'm asking you, listeners. Sakamoto. Anyway, the Sakamoto's playing for Coventry. Yes, he did look Premier League quality. He looked very, very dangerous, very fast, and it really, gave us huge problems. Changing style, any kind of change of style, which is what Joe Edwards has set himself the task, needs time and patience. I've said already, I'll keep saying it, I sincerely hope he gets that time and patience, because it will be it's not a pain-free process, is it, to change your way of watching football. It's almost like changing your lifestyle completely, giving something up in exchange for something else. So the time is crucial. What more? Yeah, he divides opinion. What more, did he? Some seem to like him. I thought he looked quite effective yesterday. I've never seen him be that effective over a stretch of games, but he certainly came in and made a difference yesterday. Make you right about Bart though, Angelo. I thought he did very, very well yesterday. Hopefully he's answered a few critics out there about his, it's certainly shot stopping. I don't think it's ever been in question, but I thought he did well overall yesterday. We're going to close this voicemail show now, listeners. We're going to close it out with one of my favourite bits. It's Jim Hackett. I always enjoy listening to Jim and his thoughts on the game. So we're going to close out with Jim. Thank you for listening, dear listeners. Hope you've enjoyed these two double-header shows this weekend. We'll be back with some content of some sort after the Ipswich game midweek. So I'm going to watch that on the telly. I'm not going to watch it on. I'm not going to go up there live, but we'll get some content out to you. Hopefully Thursday. Till then, Arrivederci Millwall, and bye for now.
Morning, Nick. Jim Hackett. After yesterday's game, I think Millwall very much second best yesterday. I think we looked all right starting the game, and we actually looked all right most of the way through the game, apart from the attacking third, where we seemed to have very little teeth and didn't really create too much. I think if Honeyman's shot come cross had gone in, it might have changed the direction of the game, but at the end of the day they just looked too powerful and too bright when they broke. I think it probably puts everybody's feet back on the ground after the Sheffield Wednesday game, and showed the new manager that he's actually got a bit of work to do with him. It's all right talking the sort of football he wants to play, but if he hasn't got the players, it's going to be very difficult for him until he gets the opportunity to get players in. I think there's enough teams that we can beat playing that sort of football for us to be okay, but it wasn't a good look yesterday. I think our back four still look like an accident waiting to happen when teams do attack us, and I did feel sorry for Murray yesterday, because he had a lad up against him who really was on fire and didn't give him a moment's peace. I think when you look at it realistically, Murray isn't a natural left back. I think if Joe Bryan comes back in, he'd have had a better opportunity against him. I think Harding and Norton Cuffy aren't playing too bad. I think Jake looks a little bit weary all the time to me. I think he's he hasn't got great pace and he hasn't got great balance, brother. When you watch him defending, and I think he gets opened up a little bit too easy. But at the other times, he's in most games he's okay. But I think yesterday he looked a little bit weary, and him and Murray on the left hand side certainly didn't help things. But played very well for Bart. I think he saved everything he had to save. Not a lot he could do with the goals, because obviously two of them came back off of his saves, and our players just didn't react quick enough. Going forward, looking in our midfield, I think you can see the limitations there. There's no legs in the centre. I know Casper looks great on the ball and he fills gaps all the time, but I thought Sav looked a little bit off the pace yesterday, and maybe it's the international break that he didn't get has come back to bite him a little. And then you look at what we've got on the bench. I think there's probably more in our team when you look at the bench, but at the end of the day, we are what we are. After the first game, where everybody's up in the air saying how fantastic we were, that was a real wake-up call yesterday as to where we really are. Obviously, the manager will get a few games. Hopefully, he'll make a difference. You can see the difference in the style of football we wanted to play yesterday. It's just that we had nothing in that final third, and I think that's his big job. If we can get a striker or two strikers that can actually look dangerous and keep the ball in the final third, it would help. But at the moment,
we just seemed to be sort of yesterday. Definitely, we were sort of pissing against the wind every time the ball went forward because we just couldn't hold on to it. But I'm not too despondent because I think it's realistically we got what we deserved. I think Coventry looked decent. I didn't think they were world beaters, but they didn't need to be yesterday. It's up to us now to get behind the team, behind the manager, and not give him too much grief at the moment. I think he'd give him till Christmas and see where we are then. Okay, on we go. Okay, come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.
The answer to today's punditgames.co.uk question, dear listeners, was a Nottingham Forest Maverick. Celtic as well, played for Celtic, as well as the Dutch national side during the 1990s. Scorer of 44 goals for the Celts and then 36 for Nottingham Forest, 97 to 99. The answer to that question, Pierre van Hooijdonk. Visit punditgames.co.uk. Pick yourself up a copy of Pundits. Christmas is coming. Thank you for listening, dear listeners. Arrivederci Millwall, and bye for now.